All right. Thanks so much, everyone, for coming out on a Monday afternoon. We have a beautiful new moon today, and maybe that's why I got like literally zero sleep last night. Like I said just before, I feel like I'm teaching from another dimension right now. I'm pretty tired, but I'm very passionate about this material, and I've been having amazing conversations with vibrant, empathic, visionary women who really do impeccable work. They are powerful healers. They are um, powerful visionaries. They really care about their work, and there are these pain points along the way to growing their business that sometimes just feel like they're on repeat. They just keep hitting the same roadblocks. So I wanted to provide a class, and I most likely will do this class again because I am refining it and want to get it really super sharp so that it can be a useful resource. But there are landmarks on the path of growing your business that we all share, that I've like been seeing are universal pain points along the way that I really want to talk about and offer some strategy and structure for the way you can start to see this, to let go of some of the overwhelm and shed some of the unworthiness that comes with hitting these roadblocks in growing your business, because they really are areas of the path of entrepreneurship that grow us into our own leadership, really. And we are, we are all healers, I think, at heart, but we are also interested in guiding others. And so at some point we come face to face with our responsibility in a way to step into the next level of our leadership. And these pain points show up every cycle of that. I speak from experience. Every time I am about to grow into the next step of my work, I always hit the pain points, right? I feel unworthy of the bigger vision that I see for my work. I feel my insecurities. I have my blind spots. We're not, no one is immune to these places, but they actually do have remedy in structure, strategy, and systems. I believe, and I'm very passionate about business being beautiful, that we're making beautiful businesses, that our businesses can actually transmit the healing work we're here to offer, that the unique messages we each have to share can be transmitted through every aspect of our business. So the structure that you build for your business can be beautiful and can be transformative. When I say beautiful, I don't just mean shiny and nice. I mean beauty as a way of transforming the human condition, transforming the human experience. Beauty has a power to transform. And that's another trend that I've been noticing with women that I speak to, is that they want their business to feel in flow, in alignment with their deep calling, and they want the structures to be beautiful. They want the structures of their business to truly support them and those they serve in a way that feels aligned with their spiritual calling. And this is really like the crux of my work, because I've been that person and I've done it so many ways. I will tell you, a million different ways. Some have worked, some didn't. I've been all over the map. So this is like 17 years of self-study and studying others and what others go through. And so I hope that what I've consolidated today will help create some scaffolding or a bridge for you to get from where you are now to where you want to be. I will also say that transforming the way that you work in your business takes time. It's not a quick fix, and it will require your own awareness about how much time you need to make changes and create shifts in not only your business, but also your mindset and your willingness to try new things, do new things. step in front of people in new ways, things like that. So I always let people know, like, I think it takes 1 year to make a really good, solid shift, right? Like, I've been working with people this year for a whole year, and they finally see now, what are we, 11 months in the year, right? That they're like, I've made these significant changes. They can actually see the changes because they've been consistently staying with the process. So, so just to say, like, if you've been trying to make a shift and it's taking a while, it's normal. It's part of the process. And hopefully we can clarify maybe some of the, where you get stuck, like where the ruts are. Okay. So with that, how does that sound? Do you feel like you're in the right place? Is that resonating for you? How many of you, just even if you just write in the chat, how many of you want to grow your business this year and make more money and set up your business to move towards 6 figures, or at least to have more freedom in your life? Okay. And again, you can, right? Like, it's not like 6 figures has to be the goal, but like, you want to break your glass ceiling. Everybody has a glass ceiling, and then we hit another one, right? And another one and another one. So the glass ceiling can be around your income, but it can also be around what you believe is possible for you in your business, right? So just as I pull up, okay, great. Okay, so I'm glad everybody in the room is on the same page and we're talking about the same thing. So as I shift to the slideshow, which is probably going to just give me, I need a minute to do that. Write down some notes for yourself. Where are you experiencing the most challenge? Is it in marketing? Is it in charging? Is it in connecting to clients? Is it in finding the time to set the new paradigm, like to set up the new model? Is it because you don't know what's next for you? You're kind of in the unknown. Start to, just for yourself, write down on a piece of paper some of the challenges you're facing right now. And I'm going to pull up the slideshow as you do that. Okay, great. All right. Let me just see, can I? Let me see. I'm just going to try one more thing. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. All right. Okay. I might not be able to give you guys the full view, but it's fine. Okay. All right. So let's start here. Okay. All right. So essentially, right, what we want to do, can everybody see the first slide, break the glass ceiling? Okay. Thank you for your patience. So essentially what we want, what most women tell me they want, is they just want to make a good living doing what they love. Okay, the people that I talk to that I'm interested in supporting are women who love what they do. They have cultivated their gifts over a long time, and they're really interested in doing the work that they feel guided in this life to do. They can be healers of various forms. They can be they could be a therapist or a coach, really any kind of practitioner that is interested in the nature of transformation and supporting their clients in making valuable shifts in their own life. And often what I hear women say, is that what they do comes so naturally to them that they almost feel like they can't charge for it, or It's just like, it's such a natural gift. How do I put a price tag on something that feels so sacred to me? Now, that doesn't mean they haven't been training in their craft, but it's specifically with, like, I was working with someone who was in the corporate world, and then when she switched to her healing work, it was like night and day. Like, it was okay if she was earning a salary doing this job that, told her what to do, but when she switched to doing her own thing, it was really hard to match the same salary. She didn't believe that she could charge enough to match what she was making before as a healer. And so there's this whole inner piece around confidence and clarity and how we embody the work that is necessary to make that leap. We really have to really own what we want and know what we want when we're setting up a business for ourselves. But essentially, the longing is the same. It's like, I just want to know that the work I love to do can support me financially and support my family, that I can meet my expenses and do the work I love and do it full time. So most of the people I work with want to do it full time. They're not doing it as a side hustle. They want to do it all out. They want to be the CEO of their company. They want to be they want to run a beautiful business. They really want their business to thrive. So there are certain things that we need in the structure of business to have it be thriving and healthy and aligned. And oftentimes these are areas that we were not trained in and that we don't know we need support in, or the systems, the structures are just almost like invisible to us. We don't even realize that we need them. On top of that, what complicates things is the demand of knowing you need to promote yourself and feeling like, I have to get on social media, but I don't like social media, or I don't like talking about myself. Like, the whole promoting, the demand to promote yourself is so high because we think that's what's going to, quote unquote, get us clients. But actually, I know plenty of entrepreneurs that either don't use social media or are not extroverted and are not the face of their brand that have very healthy, financially viable companies. So you can creatively solve that problem, but you have to know what your options are, and you have to know what you actually want, how you want to represent in your company, in your work. So that's kind of part of, what you need clarity on in the beginning is like, what do I really want? How do I really want to do this? And get clarity on that first. Second is knowing what roadblocks and challenges you face. What are the things that you feel like you don't know, or you need to resource, or you have questions about? And then you can lay down a roadmap for how to get from where you are now to where you want to be. So knowing the ground you stand on now, what things look like now, what's not working for you, and then what ultimately do you want in the next year, let's say. Okay, so I wouldn't even go past a year. I would just go like maybe 1 to 3 years, out. Beyond that, like I would just pace yourself. Like, I would say, like, if you can get a clear objective for the next year, you can build on that long term. But the first year, when you're making these changes, will train you on how you're going to make changes long term. So we're balancing like short-term change with long-term change, and knowing how we work and how we create viable, sustainable short-term change does inform how we make long-term changes. A lot of times where we get stuck is we're making both short-term and long-term changes all at once. And if we don't have clarity about how we actually do that, we can get overwhelmed and kind of stop and just get like paralyzed by the largeness of it all. Okay, is that making sense so far? Is everybody with me? You can just raise your hand or give a nod. Okay, great. So, and I apologize, I'm not giving you the full view, but I think it's just going to be easier for me to navigate and just click on the slide. So, the number one challenge for women entrepreneurs, and again, I am generalizing here. I do not think it's solely a women's issue, but for women entrepreneurs, I hear this over and over and over again. It's charging for the deep soul work they want to do. Like I said earlier in the class, part of the reason this is hard is because the work you want to do is woven in with a deep calling of your soul. And it's so close to you, you care about it deeply, that when money and time and agreements and contracts come into play, it's almost like, wait, that doesn't even belong because my work is so sacred. Now, that is true, and it can be problematic when we're too entwined. So it's important to know how you are being guided to bring this work through. And it is also equally as important to know what structure you need in place to have a healthy and clear boundary with your clients and your audience and your practice, like to really have a well-built structure so that you can lean into that structure for support when you need to recharge, when you need to take time off, when you need to work on yourself, when you need to receive. Structure is absolutely necessary. It's actually the secret key. And a lot of times what I'll run into right off the bat is like a lack of structure or a confusion around structure, what structure needs to be, and maybe structures that feel misaligned. So, so there's so much possibility. Like if you think about the structure of our bodies, right? When our bodies are aligned, the energy can flow so much better, right? We have so much more energy, insight, guidance, vision when we feel structurally well, when we feel structurally aligned. It's the same in your business. When your business is structurally aligned, the financial flow is so much easier. When you have clear agreements, when you have good structures in place, you can actually receive more and give just as equally. The typical scenario, and we can all probably relate to this, is that because we care, we overgive and we undercharge or we under-receive. Okay? And so just want to like note that because it is very common that we care so much and we overgive and we under-receive for our work. It doesn't only mean money, it means also time. Having the time to develop your work, to develop your curriculum, to develop your programs, to develop your messaging matters. And it also can be a deeply fulfilling process that actually enables your soul to speak through the work that you create. Some of us even, want to write a book or create, a video library of resources for our clients. We need time to do that. And so if you have better structures in place, you can have more time to develop your work, which then becomes, beneficial for you and for everyone that is in your practice, right? That is working with you. So the charging piece has a lot to do with organization and structure. It also has to do with being able to track what's going out and what's coming in. Like, are you looking at what you're making for the time that you're spending working each month or each week, right? Like, are you charging appropriately for the time that you're giving? Does it feel outdated? A lot of times, it will be outdated. It'll just be like, I've been doing this for so long and I just never raised my rates because I don't feel comfortable, or I don't have, I don't have the confidence, or I don't have the reason to, but I know that I'm probably due for a raise, right? Like I'm probably due for a change in terms of how I structure my pricing, et cetera, for what it is that I do. Okay. So beautiful structure makes the magic happen. So I see this over and over again when someone comes to me and tells me their ideas and tells me what they do with their clients. They share with me about their work, and it's so big. They have so much to offer. They give so much. They want to do so much. They have a big vision for their work, or they feel a big calling with their work. And all they want to do is really, they want to be in the magic with the clients. They want to be in the magic of the work. They want to be speaking about it. They want to be teaching it, or they want to be writing about it. So in order to facilitate that magic, and for you to be more in the work and not in the crazy to-do list you have, right? And losing your mind with all the tasks that you have on your to-do list, you need to identify what kinds of structure you need. So this includes organizing your offers in a clear staircase fashion, knowing what order your offers go in, having like, normally, so typically someone will come and they'll be like, I work with my clients in 10 different ways. And I'll be like, oh, that's great. But it's very overwhelming for a client to understand what way to work with you if you've got, they've got to read like 10 different descriptions. Now, I'm not saying that's always the case, but a lot of times it might even be a benefit to you and your clients to like simplify to like 3 main offers, and then like include all the goodies in those offers. So simplifying, organizing your offers, having pricing that is aligned with the quality and the value in those offers. Usually when we consolidate people's offers, when we really get down into the nitty-gritty, we see they're probably not charging enough, and they're not communicating the value of their offers because it feels scattered, or it doesn't feel like a cohesive body of work because they're just doing so much. And I'm speaking from experience. I did it like that for many years, and I just felt scattered and all over the place. I was working 7 days a week with no time off, trying to cover all my expenses, etc., and trying to make everybody happy. But if I just saw how much I was doing and I brought it into like 3 big chunks, it would have been much easier for me to not only see the people I wanted to see, but make more money and have time off. I just wasn't organized. But I wasn't organized because I was kind of, to be honest, I was afraid to be seen. I was hiding in my overwhelm. I was like, I'm just gonna be overwhelmed all the time, because like I didn't want to put a stake in the ground and say no. So just kept saying yes to everybody. Does anyone, you don't even have to raise your hand, but like inwardly you can nod like, yes, I know that feeling, because we care. That's the thing, is we actually really care. We want to do the work, and we want to be busy. We want to see clients, but there's a better way to do it. And it can be so fulfilling, and you can have it exactly the way that you want. I promise you, I've seen it happen. And trust me, I've been there and I've done it, and I've lost and I've gained and I've lost, and I've like been through the full gamut of like my career changing, many, many times. So it is possible to have it the way that you want it. But I think that inward clarity of knowing how your business is asking you to structure things, to organize things, to be in your leadership is definitely necessary and foundational for the process. Clear agreements. This is so interesting. I've been noticing that, a lot of times in the healing profession, we don't have clear agreements. And so we make contracts with clients perhaps only verbally, And then unexpected or unconscious expectations arise and things get a little dicey. And, practitioners can really struggle in those moments because they don't have a clear agreement. They have to kind of re-educate the client on how the healing relationship is going to move forward. So, you don't have, like, I definitely advocate for clear agreements and contracts in writing so that both parties are very aware of the relationship and what the two people are, signed on for. It just creates more ease and trust and clarity. So knowing, like, I've spoken to people who like tell me like, I don't have a contract, or I don't know how to begin that process. And I totally get that. And once you do get a good template, a good agreement, the good news is you can just rinse and repeat. The key is to find the right agreement for you. And also clear agreements means like, this is how I work, this is what I charge, this is what we'll do, and this is why. Are you on board? So really, like, again, guiding the client into the ecosystem of the way that you work is actually beneficial for you and for the clients. It creates a lot of things. It creates safety, it creates transparency, it creates a journey that you take together. So clear agreements is really something I've been noticing has a really big impact on whether or not someone is generating the income that they want and need. I hope that makes sense. And I can answer questions about that later, but it's really stood out this year to me that like the people who have clear agreements have a much easier time increasing their income because they have a system in place that is just able to receive more clients in an orderly fashion. Another part of the beautiful structure, having a beautiful structure, is knowing the journey you want to take people on. So not everybody's going to come to you for the same reason. Perhaps you have like maybe multiple kinds of clients. You have some people come to you for health, some people come to you for purpose, some people come to you for relationship work. You might have just different kinds of people coming and not be aware that they have a lot in common. And so when you break down the kinds of people that are coming to you, you actually can often arrive at a place where you see one or two main journeys that you're helping people go on through the various things that you do. And having clarity on the client journey will support you in organizing your offers, organizing your pricing, and also make it much easier for people to know that your work is for them, that they're suited to work with you, that there's actually kind of a soul match. It also makes the agreement part so much easier because you both are very clear on what the objective of the work is. So that's what I mean by point A to point B. So part of your business is a journey in and of itself. So I'll give you an example. Like this class is an initial entry point into the deeper infrastructure of my work. So it's one of the first touch points people can have with me and get to know the kind of work that I do. And then if they're interested, they can take the next micro commitment and book a discovery call with me. So the free classes I've done many different ways. You can do one a year, you can do one seasonally, but doing some kind of educational marketing, this would be educational marketing where you are showing up for an event that is helping your audience understand what you do, is part of the client's journey and part of you showing them that you know the way and that you can help them move from their point A to point B. So my point A with my clients, typically speaking, for women entrepreneurs who are healing practitioners is knowing that they can have a business that supports them financially doing the soul work they're here to do. So usually the point A, the urgent need is, I need to know that this is financially viable for me, but also that my business can support my emotional and spiritual development. That's generally my point A. That's what women, they show up and they say the same thing. Oh, like, I'm not saying everybody says it exactly the same, but that a lot of the pain points are very universal. So over the years, I've understood this is my passion, to meet this need. I am very passionate about meeting women in this conversation. So that's the point A. Point B is I want to have better clients. I want to have a bustling practice. I want to know that my work, that I'm fulfilling my soul's calling. I want to feel, emotionally, spiritually, financially aligned. I want to feel happy. I don't want to feel burnt out. I want my practice to have longevity. These are some of the point B's, the desired outcomes. And I want to feel more supported. I want to feel heard in what I am looking to create. Is that making sense? The point A to point B? Okay. All right. So beautiful structure. These are just some of the bullet points that are included there. So you might look at the list and go, where is my structure not intact? Like, where do I have questions about, like, are you clear on your client's journey? Are you clear on their point A to point B? Do you have clear agreements? Do you feel aligned in your pricing? Are your offers organized? And the good news is that if any of them light up and you're like, no, I need support, the good news is that's an area for growth and development for you. You've just identified where a gap is, which is great, because that's how we start to build the bridge to better business. Okay. So the next thing is developing your work and moving from, single sessions to program, model, or to scale. So there's nothing wrong with single sessions. And what I see a lot of the time is that there's so much to offer. We need better, again, I'm going to use the word structure, but we need something to hold the work in a better way. So a lot of times, and I don't know about you, but this is how it felt to me. I always felt so much pressure to get all of it into a single session. I'd almost like blow my circuitry of working with someone, because I'm like, I've got one shot to show them that this is good, that this can work, that this can transform their life. And so from the single session, you might have already gone into packages, which is good. But a lot of times people regard that still as single session, which is fine if that works for you. If it's not working for you, if you feel overwhelmed by people just kind of dabbling in and dabbling out, and you want a more cohesive structure, you likely want to create at least one deep dive program within your architecture of our offers, within your within your lexicon of work, to have a deeper container to go, into depth with your clients, the ones that are really looking to create the change. I advocate for that, but I also recognize that depending upon where you are in your business, sometimes still offering single sessions makes sense. And sometimes, depending upon the client or the situation you're in, moving into a program format makes a lot of sense. And there is strategy needed to make that transition. So if you're kind of caught up in that, just know that, we were trained, like the old business model, especially for healers in particular, is kind of a single session model, and that is fine until it's not okay, or if it's not working for you anymore. It's something to pay attention to. Okay, knowing the value you provide. So another thing that program development can give you is seeing the deep value your work provides. So when I sit with someone and we go over what they offer, which is like so much, and I say, okay, what if we organize it in this way? We usually see that they have a lot to give, and that typically they could most likely go into like creating a 3-month introductory program for their committed clients, and start to enroll clients into a 3-month program to start getting more business booked, but also in an organized manner, so that they have these commitments on the calendar, their time is booked, new business is booked, and then they have that kind of guarantee of work, and it supports them financially, but it also gives them time and space to breathe, to kind of see what the next leg of development is. So it can really fortify you and give you the time you need, the financial resources you need, and also the space to look at how you want to improve the functioning of your business model. It also will demonstrate your leadership when you can really sit with someone and say, this is what I see as possible for us to work on with you, for you. Clients typically feel relieved when we can step into the role of guide and mentor and show them, this is what I see as possible, us working together. This is what I think we will do together. So it provides transformative support. It absolutely articulates healthy boundaries around your time and energy. And it also provides depth and scope of the work. So you can go deep, and you can also illustrate the scope of your work and have a clear agreement around that with someone. Instead of like, booking a session and hoping they book another one, you can actually set it up where you have a conversation, and if it's the right fit, enroll that person into a committed term of support. So, and that is definitely something that I know I am built for. I like to go deep, and I like to walk alongside someone for an extended period of time to kind of not only do healing work, but also like achieve goals and landmarks along the way. So over the years, I've just learned that that's the type of practitioner I am. I also know other people who don't like working that way. I have a friend who's an astrologer, and she just couldn't work that way, but her schedule, her calendar is booked like a year in advance. So she doesn't have that problem. She does single sessions, it works for her, but her calendar is booked. She works in a very different way than I do. So, so knowing that is also important. This is not the only way to do it, but it is a way that I recommend, because a lot of the clients I work with, they do like to go deep, and they are often guides for people throughout a phase of transformation in their client's life. Okay. So the way that we get clarity on your client's journey is we need to zero in on who you love to work with. Now, they call it a niche. You might have heard that word before, or ideal client avatar. You've heard other business coaches talk about, niching down. But essentially, this is important if you want to streamline your efforts marketing-wise and speak to the right people, attract the right people. You want to know who your person is. And that doesn't mean that you can't help whoever comes your way. You want to sign someone on. But what this does, when we really understand our client's journey, the one that is really unique to our particular medicine, right? We each have a very unique medicine that we embody. It's something we exude. It's something we live. It's something we transmit. It's not written in a book. We embody it. And we are a particular, transmission of work of wisdom, of divine guidance coming through, right? We're embodying a certain kind of work that meets a particular need. And when we can identify that particular need and who has that need, all of our efforts can feel easier, simpler, clearer, more streamlined, more direct. And we're not really second guessing what we're doing in terms of outreach or promotion or teaching or writing, because we know exactly the direction, who we are speaking to, who's listening we want to be speaking into. So it's not just to, I find this part very compassionate for both ourselves and our clients, because when we can start to identify the unique way we work and who that matches, we just have an easier time. We have a more joyful time. And I think there's some misunderstandings around niching down in ideal clients. I think it's a very soul-based practice. It's really coming into yourself and feeling how your work is guiding you is going to provide you with the key to who your ideal client is. It's not just an age group or a demographic. It's actually like a soul level match. When we identify this piece, it supports our commitment. It supports our client's commitment. It supports your marketing efforts. It's so much easier when you know exactly what you want to say. I heard someone say once, speak to the one person that you know your work is for, and you'll reach that population. You just speak to the heart of the person you know you're here to support, you'll reach the audience, you'll attract that audience to you. It also enhances your credibility when you can speak about your client's journey in a way they haven't heard before, maybe illuminating the things that they don't see. So there's a book called, and now I don't remember the author's name, but it's about story branding and how story is the most powerful method for marketing. And where we typically go wrong in our marketing is we make ourselves the hero or the heroine, not our clients. And so understanding that our clients are looking for a guide, not another hero, and that we present ourselves as the guide they need on the journey they are walking, that's when the connection happens. So when you understand your client's journey, you can position yourself as the guide that can help them move from A to B, from where they are to where they want to be. This also creates relatability. It's just like the best way to facilitate deeper connection, authentic connection, better relationships in your business. And, if you've ever had that experience where you've had a phase of your practice where you're just getting clients from who knows where, and they're not matching who you are, and you're just wondering why are all these people coming to me? This doesn't, I don't want to say all the wrong, but there's these phases where the clients you get are really, really challenging, or they require a lot of work, or they're canceling all the time, or it just doesn't feel connected. It's a good training for us to learn what we don't want. I remember I had a phase like that where I had a lot of clients that just couldn't keep their schedule straight. And I was like accommodating and accommodating and accommodating until one day I was like, I can't work like this anymore. And so it was a whole phase of me learning that I had to actually have a healthy boundary around my time. And I had to have contracts around my office hours and our appointment times and, refunds and whatnot. Like I had to change the entire way I was working because a whole population of clientele showed me that this is not the way I want to work. I want to have people that like can keep a schedule with me and that are invested in the work we're doing. And then of course, client journey engenders trust. So when you can speak about the journey because you've likely been on the journey that they are on now, you will build trust. And this includes writing about your client's journey in your marketing material, in your newsletters, in your social media posts, speaking about it in any videos or, social media lives or podcasts that you might do, to have an understanding of the journey you're speaking to is what every successful author does, right? Like anyone who's written a book is writing a journey from A to B. Essentially, maybe that's not true for every like poetry book, but generally speaking, right? If you look at like David Whyte, for example, he wrote a beautiful book called Crossing the Unknown Sea, and it was his journey of leaving, I think, his corporate work and going out on his own to become a writer, and like how terrifying that was, but what a deep calling it was for him. And it's a beautiful book, and it's his journey from A to B. And he wrote about it, and then of course everybody who's on that journey is reading that and going, yeah, that's me too. So story is a very powerful way to have marketing speak for you, that you're not promoting yourself, you're promoting the journey you want to walk your clients through. Okay. So I'm just going to pause here before we go into the marketing piece and just see if there are any questions. So I'm going to, does anybody need that last slide? Everybody good? Okay. I'm going to stop the share for right now and pause the recording and just have like a little check-in with everybody, see how we're doing, and then we can go on to the next 2 points. So let me do that here. All right, and then I'm going to pause here. All right, so let me see. I'm going to share the screen. Okay, so we see now the value of client journey. And when we have this, we can go into a marketing strategy that is informed by our ideal clients' pain points and desired outcomes. So marketing is 2 things mainly. Marketing is being seen in your expertise, in your gifts, in your creativity. Marketing is being seen in your unique medicine, right? In your unique medicine, I will just say, okay, your unique essence, who you are as a practitioner. Marketing is also being able to meet your client in their need for support. So when you put a post out or a newsletter out, or you even go to a dinner party and you're talking to someone about your work, marketing is being able to speak clearly to the need you address. So if you're at a dinner party and someone asks, what do? You want to have, and I don't like this term, but an elevator pitch, meaning you want to have a translatable sentence that communicates what you do easily for people, so that even if they aren't your client, they could easily refer you to the right person. So for example, if you're at a dinner party, people ask you, what do? You might want to say, well, I help couples have a better sex life, or I help, women, what I want to say, I help women move through menopause from a feeling of empowerment and magic, or I don't know, right? They may sound a little cheesy. I'm not saying that that's cheesy, but it's not my language, so I'm just making these things up. But you want to have like a line or a message that is clearly repeatable, right? So someone might say about me, like, oh, she's a spiritual business coach, you know, or I help women build their businesses through an intuitive and spiritual approach. That might be my elevator pitch. Now, depending upon what party I'm at, I might phrase it in a different way because the person right in front of me, you know, may not use the word spiritual or something. So I might just say, oh, I coach women entrepreneurs on how to grow their business. So I have a few different ways that I describe what I do, but it's pretty clear, and it's based on, you know, years of identifying this is my niche, this is what I care about, this is one of the main focuses of my work. So a clear message enables transformation to begin with your marketing. So piece of marketing might be, you know, talking to someone at a dinner party. It could be a podcast you're on. It could be a social media post, a newsletter, anything, an article that you write. But if your message is clear and spoken from your heart, then you are already beginning the journey of transformation for the person that is coming into contact with it. So a lot of people will complain to me, oh, I don't have 1,000 followers, I don't have a big following. I said, you don't need a big following, you need a clear message. Just because you have a big following, if your message isn't clear, that big following isn't really going to convert into a healthy clientele. It might be a big audience that is a big fan of yours, but that doesn't mean that they're converting or turning into real clients. So followers don't really mean anything unless your message is clear and it is enabling transformation to occur. So it's really the capacity for us to communicate clearly that creates better clients and retains clients, right? Being able to speak to your clients about the value of your work helps them re-enroll, right? So part of the things that you want for marketing, powerful marketing, is knowing the journey from A to B. So typically, what is the journey from A to B for your people, right? Like I help people move from point A to point B. I help people move from overwhelm to clarity. Knowing the urgent needs of your clients, speaking about that in your newsletters, on the podcast, maybe doing a free talk about the challenges that people face in the work that you do. What are the desired outcomes? So some of this we just talked about, right? Like knowing the urgent need they have, knowing the desired outcome they have. Scope of work is really knowing what you offer and what you don't. So, you know, someone may come to me and be like, I want you to coach me in my business and I want you to redesign my website. I go, okay, I can help you in your business, but I'm not the person you want to go to design your website. That's not my area of expertise. I can, you know, sit with you and brainstorm and help you organize your information better, but I'm not a designer. I'm not a web developer. So just knowing like what you do and what you don't. So if you're, just being able to be very clear with your clients, like I'm not a therapist, I'm a body worker, or I do shamanic healing, but I am not your therapist. So just having really clear standards around the scope of work is helpful. Teaching curriculums. So marketing is also educational, as I've shared. This is an educational marketing class where I'm sharing important pieces of the journey of what it means to transform the way that you work in your business. And so teaching a curriculum can be a powerful way to market your services, to have a little like mini class, a mini journey
right? You want to have a better relationship, you want to have better sex. Like these are the things that you need to, go through. This is what I will teach you. This is what we do in couples work. And then teach them like 3 or 6 steps from A to B. Oftentimes the free class is sort of a mini version of your deeper dive. So always teaching classes or giving free talks or showcasing your work in some way is always going to give you more insight into what your bigger programs are about. Marketing offers solutions to your clients' challenges. So if they're struggling with this, how is your work a solution? How has your work helped people transform their life? And then the deeper diagnosis is like the underbelly of your work, where it's kind of the shadow of the work, where people are unaware of the roadblocks that they face, or they're unaware of why they're getting stuck. And you being able to articulate that is going to give your marketing a lot more power. When you can describe the experience your client is having and really offer them a picture of what that is about. And it really helps them, I think, also feel, right? It relieves, like when we can describe the journey and we can illuminate the blind spots, it really helps lift a lot of the burden of shame that people feel when they need support and they don't know where to get it. So being able to talk about the areas where people are stuck in a compassionate way can really invite a person to reach out and say, what you just shared really spoke to me and invited me to reach out to you. So it builds amazing connections when we can articulate and understand the deeper diagnosis. So that's kind of the underbelly, the shadow side, the unconscious blocks that they're moving through that you are aware of and that you can help them with. Any questions about this slide? Okay. All right. And then finally, often what we are dealing with in the short term is how to set up proper systems for you and help you prioritize your time and your energy in a way that supports you and the way you support your clients. So often, right? Someone shows up for their session and they're like, I'm overwhelmed. I have so much to do. I want to build out my program, but I've got like all these people, on my schedule this week. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to prioritize. Prioritization is a skill, and it's something that we work on over and over and over again. And it's a lot of times what I help my clients with is what to prioritize. What should you be spending your time on, and what can you leave? What can you put pause on? So, Lee, like if I was sitting with you, I'd probably be like, we're not going to prioritize your website right now. I'm just, making this up. But like, I probably wouldn't prioritize the website. I'd be like, we want to prioritize the ideal client. We want to get a good roadmap of who you're talking to, because we want to enroll some high quality, high committed clients who are really looking for the work that you offer, and get their attention, get them on a call with you, and like make connections. So we want to get you in front of the right people and not like wait for the website to do something that it might not be doing. We want to get things moving. And so a lot of people, and myself included, I want my website to look good too, but it might not be a priority. The ideal client work might be the priority, right? So that's what we would sit down and do. And then oftentimes it's just like working, to say like, okay, it's okay for me to put that on pause because it's actually distracting me from moving the needle forward in what I really, really need to have happen in my business right now. So systems include like good scheduling systems like Acuity or Calendly, having a payment system like Stripe or Venmo or PayPal. I like Stripe. I mean, I'm not here to advise any of you, but like, you know, with sending invoices, you don't want to have to always like chase, and you know, like you don't have to always have to remind your clients to pay their invoice. So it's nice to have a payment system that can just take payment right away. But whatever you choose, I mean, it's again very unique, but I do like advising my clients to have a good payment application so that they can just take payment and not worry about, you know, sending them invoices, following up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's another thing that having programs helps with. Even if like a program is like over 6 months and you see that person once for 3 hours a month, that's still a program. And if they're in that container, they know that their payment is coming off automatically once a month, and you don't have to worry about it. So, or they pay up front and you give them an incentive to pay up front. That could be a win-win. Healthy agreements, clear agreements, very important. So, you know, something like HelloSign, where you have your agreement typed out and you have it like legally bound. You might also have like a legal team or service that can proofread your agreements. That's also possible, so that you don't have to worry about, you know, like if it's written the right way. You just like, you get a template, you revise it for your purposes, and then you have, you know, there are services, and now I can't think of them right now, but there are services that you can find where you can pay like a monthly fee and you have a legal team at your service and they can review your documents and help you tighten those up. Systems and prioritization helps with accountability, helping you stay accountable to what's needed, short-term and long-term, and also helping your clients stay accountable to the promise they made, you know, to show up on Tuesday at 2, you know, they get a reminder and they've agreed to a cancellation policy, etc. It just offers a lot of clarity. Having a good system in place, the right system for you, is just going to bring you a lot of clarity on what you can bring your focus on and what you don't have to really worry about or stress out about day to day. And then, you know, prioritization systems, it also helps alleviate unspoken expectations. So sometimes when we enter into a client relationship, you know, the client may have these expectations that they're not expressing. And so having clear agreements, having the systems and the priorities in place helps lessen unspoken expectations and helps clarify clear outcomes, the direction your work is moving in with the client. So it just helps ensure that both of you are going to have the best experience possible. And it does feel good when both of you agree on a journey you're going to do together, right? Instead of like guessing part of the way. So that is my slideshow for you today. I'll just go over it one more time. So we started with structure. Beautiful structure makes the magic happen. Program development, so moving from single sessions to being able to scale in a healthy, aligned, and efficient way. We go on to knowing your client's journey, helps a lot. Simplify your structures and gives you a lot of insight to the programs you ought to be offering that will really build your practice in a cohesive way. And enabling you to market the right things, talk about, teach about, share about the right things that speak to the people who are interested in what you do. And ultimately, right, the systems and prioritization really helps the day in, day out overwhelm with all the things we have to do. And then on top of that, our client work, and then, you know, taking care of ourselves. So, and this evolves with time. Like, you don't need big systems. You just need simple systems for where you're at right now. And then you can grow into, you know, having a team that manages your systems for you, maybe even just an assistant down the line who can do all of this stuff that you don't want to do, right, in your business. So finally, and I'm going to show you, right, how I do this. So I've delivered the class. These are the slides I have. This is the educational segment of the class. And I want to move into questions and coaching if any of you have. For those of you that may need to hop off early, I want to still invite you to book a one-to-one discovery call. You can email me at info@andreamaxine.com, and we can get on a call and we can strategize for your business. And if you've already done this with me, you can still work with me in a one-off session. I'm calling it a business audit session. And if you're interested in having an audit, which is kind of like an assessment that we do together, it is a paid session, and it's $250 for 90 minutes. And it's basically assessing your business structure, how it's working, where the gaps are, and then I create a proposal for you on the next steps, like what needs to come in to support your business. So this part of the class is what we would call a call to action, an invitation to you, if this resonated for you, to contact me. This is something I would teach you to do in your practice as well. If you gave a free talk or you gave a free class, you'd want to invite the people who attended into a one-on-one call of some kind to connect with you, you know, individually. And this way, it does a couple of things. It gives them an option to find out more, but it also gives you the opportunity to learn about who's showing up for your classes, who's interested and why. So it gives you a lot of benefit to make a call to action. A lot of times people will tell me, oh, I don't want to make an offer. I don't want to make a call to action. I feel awkward. I get that. It is awkward. It can be awkward, but it can also be like, hey, I'd love to talk with you more. You know, let's get together. I'd love to hear what you're working on. This is very exciting for me, and I'd love to help in whatever way I can. So you offer, like, the discoveries call is free. The business audit is more in depth, and you get a report and an assessment and like a 3-step plan, and that's a paid session. That's something I've just discovered is really working well in my practice. People are really enjoying that, and they like the step-by-step process, and they kind of walk away with a little bit of a roadmap. So that's what I have for you today in terms of like the educational portion of this class. And we have a little bit of time left if anybody wants to ask me some questions. I'm going to stop the share, and we will stop the recording as well, so that the coaching can be confidential and private. All right, where's the button? Okay.